Welcome back, everyone. uh, we have done 20 stanzas of P.B. Shelley's Adonais, an elegy on the death of John Keats. Today, we move forward from stanza number 21. Okay, so this is stanza 21. Alas, that all we loved of him should be but for our grief, as if it had not been, and grief itself be mortal. Who is me? Whence are we and why are we? Of what scene? The actors or spectators? कह रहे हैं कि कितनी दुख की बात है ना कि जो भी हमें कीट्स के बारे में पता था या जो भी उसके बारे में था, जो भी हम मोर्न कर रहे हैं, वो सब चला जाएगा। ग्रीफ तक है, उसके बाद वील ऑल कंटिन्यू विद आवर लाइव्स, राइट? ग्रेट एंड मीन Great and mean meet must in death, who lends what life must borrow. As long as skies are blue and fields are green, evening must usher nights, night urge the morrow, month follow month with woo, and year wake year to sorrow. So Shelley is reflecting on the mortality of grief itself. कि कितना mortal है grief भी. It's there, it's here, and then it will go away, just like we are. फ्लीटिंग नेचर ऑफ ह्यूमन अटैचमेंट कह रहे हैं कि जो भी हमें एडोनाइस के बारे में पता था, everything we loved about Adonais now seems as if it never existed. It is because overshadowed by sorrow. So human life जो है, it is presented as a cycle of inevitable suffering, जहाँ पे दिन के बाद रात आती है, मंथ के बाद मंथ आता है, ईयर के बाद year makes year to sorrow. Stanza emphasizes the universal experience of loss and mortality. ठीक है, उसके बाद नेक्स्ट स्टैंजा में ग्रीफ इज पर्सोनिफाइड एज calling upon you, the spiritual mother of Adonais, to awaken. क्या कह रहे हैं देखो, he will awake no more, oh never more, तुम तो उठ जाओ, childless mother, rise out of thy sleep and slake in thy heart's core a wound more fierce than his, with tears and sighs and all dreams that watched Urania's eyes, and all the echoes from their sister's song had held in the holy silence, cried, Arise. ग्रीफ उसको कह रहा है कि उठ जाओ, सारी जो स्पिरिचुअल ड्रीम्स हैं, echoes हैं, that had kept her in a peaceful rest now urge her to rise, because there's no longer that kind of a peace. So her awakening is sudden, swift, and almost involuntary, like a thought struck by memory. शेली पोर्ट्रे कर रहे हैं ग्रीफ को एज एक्टिव, कि बहुत कंपेलिंग है, वो उठा रहा है उसको, ट्रांसफॉर्मेटिव है, प्रोपेलिंग यूरेनिया टुवर्ड्स हर सेक्रेड ड्यूटी ऑफ मोर्निंग, कि उठो और मोर्न करो, इट्स योर टाइम टू मोर्न बिकॉज योर चाइल्ड इज गॉन. नेक्स्ट स्टैंजा, यूरेनिया राइजेस लाइक एन ऑटमनल नाइट फॉलोइंग द डिपार्टेड गोल्डन डे. ठीक है, जब एडोनाइस इज डेड एंड नाउ डिपार्टेड, गोल्डन डे कहा है उसको, फिर वो उठती हैं. तो शेलीज इमेजरी शोज हर ग्रीफ एज पावरफुल एंड ओवरवेलमिंग, सराउंडिंग हर लाइक स्टॉर्मी मिस्ट. शी इज ड्रॉन toward the place where Adonais lies, emphasizing the magnetism of death on those left behind. Nature's imagery underscores the cosmic weight of loss. इमेजरी इस तरह से शो की है शैली ने कि यूरेनिया का जो ग्रीफ है इतना पावरफुल है, इतना ओवरवेलमिंग है, इट्स सराउंडिंग हर लाइक स्टॉर्मी मिस्ट. तो उस तरफ वो चली जा रही है जिस तरफ एडोनाइस इज लाइंग. Next, Urania travels through human society, cities, camps, yet remains untouched by the harshness of mortal life. Barbed tongues and hostile thoughts cannot harm her sacred form. कि वो कुछ भी सुन ले, किसी का कोई कुछ कह रहा है, वो उसको हार्म नहीं करता. So उसका जो path है, it is adorned with eternal flowers, symbolizing reverence. So she is that higher kind, uh, symbolizing the reverence, sanctity, and the lasting impact of the poet's life. Shelley blends spiritual transcendence with harshness of earthly existence. तो एक कंट्रास्ट दिखाया है, स्पिरिचुअल ट्रांसेंडेंस जो यूरेनिया रिप्रेजेंट कर रही है, और जिस तरह से जो हार्शनेस है ह्यूमन एग्जिस्टेंस की, अर्थली एग्जिस्टेंस की, वो। नेक्स्ट स्टैंजा. In the death chamber, Urania's presence is so powerful that even death seems embarrassed, almost retreating before her might. जब पहुंच जाती है डेथ चेम्बर में तो उसकी प्रेजेंस इतनी पावरफुल है कि इवन डेथ इज एम्बैरेस्ड, ऐसा लग रहा है डेथ भी रिट्रीट कर रही है उसकी माइट के सामने. तो लाइफ्स पेल लाइट फ्लैशेस थ्रू एडोनाइस's बॉडी. कुछ लाइफ की फ्लैशेस लाइट उसकी बॉडी से आ रही हूँ, सिंबलाइजिंग द ट्रांसेंडेंस ऑफ स्पिरिट ओवर फिजिकल डेथ. स्पिरिट तो है ही है, मे बी इट्स ट्रांसेंडिंग टू अनदर लाइफ. येट डेथ अल्टीमेटली स्माइल्स एंड मीट्स हर. थोड़ा सा हिचक के डेथ फिर उसको मिलती है, meets her attempt to revive the poet, showing that while grief and love are potent, mortal death remains inevitable. Who will, you cannot undo this. So इस stanza में 25th stanza में, yeah, in the death chamber for a moment, death shamed by the presence of that living might, blushed to an annihilation, and the breath revisited those lips, and the life's pale light flashed through those limbs, so late her dear delight. Leave me not wild and drear, comfortless, as silent lightning leaves the starless night. Leave me not, cried Urania. So Urania is saying this to her child. Her distress roused death. Death rose and smiled and met her in vain caress. Stay yet a while, speak to me once again. अच्छे स्टैंजाज हैं, इनको पढ़ना जरूर. Kiss me so long, but as a kiss may live, and in my heartless breast and burning brain, that word, that kiss, shall all thoughts else revive, with food of saddest memory kept alive. Now thou art dead, as if it were a part of thee, my Adonais. I would give all that I am to be as thou art now. Please वापस आ जाओ. Don't leave me. Just wake up. Just kiss me so that it may last. All of these things. But I am changed to time. कि मैं कुछ भी करूंगी कि मैं तुम्हारी जगह आ जाऊं अभी. But I am changed to time and cannot thence depart. O gentle child, beautiful as thou were, why did thou leave the trodden paths of men too soon? And with weak hands, thou mighty heart, dare the unpastured dragon in this den? Defenseless art thou as thou were. Oh, where was then wisdom, the mirrored shield, or scorn the spear? Or hadst thou waited the full cycle when thy spirit should have filled its crescent sphere, the monsters of life's waste had fled from thee like deer. This is all showing Urania's grief for Adonais or Keats, right? The speaker expresses intense personal grief Adonais ke death pe, and he longs to hold on to the poet through memory, words, kisses, ki bas kuch bhi, but recognizes that he is bound by time and mortality. And this stanza conveys the power of memory and love to preserve the dead spiritually. Then Shelley laments that Adonais died too young, before his spirit could fully mature. He compares life to a battle with monstrous challenges, suggesting that had Keats lived longer, he would have been fully equipped to face life's hardships. The stanza emphasizes the tragedy of premature death to a gifted soul. Next, में the herded wolves, bold only to pursue, the obscene ravens, clamored over the dead, the vultures to the conqueror's banner true, who feed where desolation first has fed, and whose wings rain contagion, how they fled, when like Apollo from his golden bow, the Pythian of the age One arrow sped and smiled. The spoilers tempt no second blow. They fawn on the proud feet that spurn them lying low. तो शैली अब डिपिक्ट कर रहे हैं कि किस तरह से एडोनाइस का जो पावर है, ब्रिलियंस है, इट इंटिमिडेटेड द विकेड एंड करप्ट, herded wolves, vultures. So his poetic and moral influence acts like Apollo's arrow. उसका जो कीट्स का पोएट्री है, striking with divine authority. So it suggests that true greatness repel कर देती है corruption को and leaves a lasting mark on the world. Next stanza में, it presents a cosmic analogy. Just like stars awaken after the ephemeral life of insects, a godlike mind or genius shines, departs and leaves enduring influence. Human brilliance, like Keats's poetry, persists beyond death. Great minds का so रहेगा and illuminating future generations even as the transient fade away. Next में, the poem concludes with celebration of Adonais' immortality. He is likened to pilgrim of eternity. कि आप, you're gone, you've departed, but you're not, never really going to go away from earth because your fame will remain with your poetry. Nature, myth, and music mourn and honor him, and love and grief combine to create lasting, beautiful memorial. Shelley affirms that although the poet is dead, his spiritual and artistic presence endures eternally. उसके बाद next में 31, midst others of less note came one frail form, a phantom among men, companionless as the last cloud of an expiring storm, whose thunder is its knell. He, as I guess, had gazed on nature's naked loveliness, action like, and now he fled astray with feeble steps over the world's wilderness, and his own thoughts along that rugged way pursued like ragging hounds their father and their prey. What does that mean? एक फ्रेल सा सॉलिटरी फिगर आता है, सारे मोर्न कर रहे हैं वहां पे आ जाता है और अजीब सा है, गोस्ट लाइक फिगर है, wandering through life's harshness, like Actaeon fleeing after glimpsing divine nature. जैसे किसी ने कुछ देख के कोई भाग गया हो, कुछ divine nature. So this figure seems haunted by thoughts and grief. So representing sensitivity crushed by the world's indifference. अब शेरी डिस्क्राइब करता है स्पिरिट को एज ब्यूटिफुल लेकिन बहुत वीक, लाइक अ डाइंग लैम्प और ब्रेकिंग वेव, और उसकी जो पावर है इज लिमिटेड बाय सर्कमस्टांस, फ्रजाइल है अंडर द वेट ऑफ लाइफ चैलेंजेस, जैसे ह्यूमन बीइंग्स, दे आर ऑल टायर्ड एंड सफरिंग. Life's brilliance can coexist with inner suffering, showing the paradox of vitality and fragility. अब ये जो फिगर है is decorated with flowers and symbols of mourning. Pansies, violets, ivy, cypress. So these symbolize death, memory, and grief. He is the last of his group, neglected and alone, just like a deer struck by a hunter. बस वही बचा था, उसको भी हंटर ने पकड़ लिया हो. Emphasizing the tragedy of overlooked genius or sorrow. Now the mourners recognize the pain of this stranger. His sorrow resonates with their own, क्योंकि वो सब sorrow में है. और यूरेनिया क्वेश्चन कर रही है उसको, but he reveals only his branded and bloodiest brow, symbolizing what? Suffering. एक parallel to Cain's suffering or Christ's suffering, representing innocent suffering and moral weight. उसके बाद Shelley observes a gentle figure leaning over the dead, silently mourning with deep respect and love. So this figure exemplifies quiet devotion, empathy, and acceptance of loss. So Shelley urged कर रहा है not to disturb this sacred, intimate grief. Let them have this moment, highlighting the sanctity of personal mourning. Next stanza में, our Adonais has drunk poison. Oh, what deaf and viperous murderer could crown life's early cup with such a draught of woo. The nameless worm would now itself disown, if felt, yet could escape the magic tone whose prelude held all envy, hate, and wrong. But what was howling in one breast alone, silent with expectation of the song, whose master's hand is cold, whose silver lyre unstrung? Live thou, whose infamy is not thy fame, live, fear no heavier chastisement, uh, chastisement from me. Thou noteless blot on a remembered name, but be thyself and know thyself to be, and ever at thy season be thou free to spill the venom when thy fangs overflown, remorse and self contempt shall cling to thee, not hot shame shall burn upon thy secret brow, and like a beaten hound tremble thou shall as now. तो शैली अनटाइमली डेथ को फॉस्मो इतनी जल्दी क्या थी इतना अर्ली कप क्यों पी लिया कॉलिंग इट पॉइजनड कप इन्फ्लिक्टेड बाय सम नेमलेस मैलिशियस फोर्स कि कुछ तो ऐसा हुआ तुम्हारे साथ कि तुमने ये अर्ली पॉइजन का कप पी लिया द वर्ल्ड हैज लॉस्ट इट्स ब्यूटी एंड टैलेंट द लायर ऑफ दिस हिज जीनियस लाइज साइलेंट एंड द इनजस्टिस ऑफ हिज डेथ लीव्स sorrow and rage. शेली कर्स कर रहे हैं मर्डरर को और जो भी रिस्पॉन्सिबल है इसकी डेथ के पीछे पोएटिक जस्टिस में विशिंग शेम रिमोर्स एंड फियर अपॉन देम कर दिया कर्स द स्टैंजा कंडेम्स envy and cruelty emphasizing that evil carries its own punishment even if unrecognized by the world punishment मिल जाएगा ये कह रहे हैं वो उसके बाद शेली रिमाइंड्स मोर्नर्स कि ग्रीव मत करो एडोनाइस की स्पिरिट को विच हैज रिटर्न टू इटर्नल सोर्स ऑफ लाइफ डेथ अफेक्ट्स ओनली द बॉडी सोल तो वही है इमॉर्टल पार्ट ऑफ द इटर्नल डिवाइन अनटच्ड बाय ह्यूमन करप्शन उसके बाद शेली एम्फसाइज करते हैं दैट एडोनाइस हैज अवेकन्ड फ्रॉम लाइफ्स इल्यूजन्स उठ के आओ इस दुनिया के इल्यूजन्स से mortals, trapped in grief and fear, mistakenly mourn as if the soul were lost. So, in reality, we are the ones ensnared in phantoms. Like Adonais exists free, while Adonais exists free from mortal suffering. हम लोग अभी भी यही हैं हम लोग रो रहे हैं उसकी बॉडी के लिए जैसे सोल उसकी चली गई हो लेकिन सोल तो है नेक्स्ट The final stanza asserts that Adonais has not the final stanza of the poem 5 के मैंने वो लिए हुए हैं इसलिए has soared beyond envy, hate and human malice. He is now secure, eternal and untouched by worldly misfortune. He is free from aging, sorrow. मतलब जितनी भी suffering है human life की उससे free हो गया वो. He's gone. His spirit remains luminous and immortal, beyond the reach of time and human failings. उसके बाद you 20 31 32 33 34 35 36 38 39 and this is 40 ठीक है L means 10 and L means 40 we've reached 41 he lives he wakes it is death is dead not he ठीक है mourn not for Adonais thou young dawn turn all thy due to splendor for from thee the spirit thou lamentest is not gone ye caverns and ye forests cease to mourn cease रुक जाओ कोई mourn मत करो you faint flowers and fountains and you air which like mourning veil thy scarf hadst thrown over the abandoned earth now leave it bare even to the joyous stars which smile on its despair. He's one, he's made one with nature. वो एक हो गया nature के साथ. There is heard his voice in all her music, from the moan of thunder to the songs of night. सब चीज में वो है. Night's sweet bird. He is a presence to be felt and known in the darkness and in light, from herb and stone, spreading itself wherever that power may move, which has withdrawn his being to its own, which wields the world with never varied love, sustains it from beneath and kindles it above. देखो ना किस तरह से वो चल रहे हैं स्टार्टिंग में वो पूरा प्रोसेशन को बता रहे थे मोनर्स को बताया उन्होंने किस तरह से नेचर भी मोन कर रही है सारी एक करके फिर यूरेनिया की बात आ गई फिर कोई स्ट्रेंजर मोर्नर आ गया अब वो कह रहे हैं मोन मत करो तो इस तरह से द पोम प्रोग्रेसेस So he has Adonais has triumphed over death. It is death itself that is conquered, not him. Shelley urges mourners, nature, and elements to cease lamenting, as his spirit remains present. The young dawn and all living things are called to celebrate his immortality. एक पोएम होती थी हिंदी में अगर आपको याद हो स्कूल में होती थी मुझे नाम नहीं याद है बहुत अच्छी पोएम थी उसमें था आत्मा का मिलन परमात्मा से हो गया तो वो फादर होते हैं उसका बेटे की डेथ हो जाती है और वो पूरे ढोल वोल के साथ उसको विदा करते हैं और सब लोग पूछते हैं कि आप ऐसा क्यों कर रहे हो आप ढोल क्यों बजा रहे हो आप मौन करना चाहिए डेथ हो गई आपके बेटे की वो कहता है कि मैं तो सेलिब्रेट कर रहा हूँ क्योंकि आज इसकी आत्मा का मिलन परमात्मा से हो गया दैट्स द सेम spirit that is there in these stanzas now. Adonais is now one with nature. उसकी भी आत्मा उस nature से मिल गई है. His presence felt in everything, from thunder to the song of nightingales. He pervades the world, sustained by the eternal power, and governs all things with love, showing his spirit lives on in all forms of life and matter. Shelley emphasizes that Adonais contributes to the ongoing beauty of the world. जो ब्यूटी है यहाँ पे उसमें वो कंट्रीब्यूट कर रहे हैं उनकी स्पिरिट इंस्पायर्स द ग्रोथ ऑफ न्यू फॉर्म्स इन नेचर एंड ह्यूमैनिटी शेपिंग ब्यूटी एंड ऑर्डर द पोएट्स influence spreads into all life making the world itself a reflection of his spirit so even though temporal splendors may fade temporary चीजें तो फेड हो जाती हैं they are never truly extinguished लेकिन एक्सटिंग्विश नहीं होती लाइक स्टार्स बिहाइंड द क्लाउड्स फेड हो जाएंगे एक्सटिंग्विश तो नहीं होंगे Genius and lofty thoughts endure. When a young heart aspires towards greatness, the dead continue to live in the minds and deeds of the living, like light moving through storms. Keats is never dead, actually. He's alive. We are talking about him. Every day somebody is reading about Keats. Every day somebody remembers Keats. He's alive. इतना तो हम और dead people को याद नहीं करते. Shelley evokes the spirit of past great poets who rose beyond mortal limits. ऐसी और भी spirits थी. Chatterton, Sidney, Lucan. They live in the spiritual realm of unfulfilled renown. You all know how Chatterton also died really young. Their legacy is escaping oblivion. Adonais joins his this eternal company, confirming that true genius defies time and forgetfulness. उसके बाद and many more whose names on earth are dark, but whose transmitted effluence cannot die, so long as fire outlives the parent spark, rose rubbed in dazzling immortality. Thou art become as one of us, thy cry. It was for thee, yon kingless sphere has long swung blind in unascended majesty. Silent alone amid a heaven of song, assume thy winged throne, the whisper of our throng. So, who mourns for Adonais? Oh, come forth, fond wretch, and know thyself and him aright. Jaan lo pehle. Clasp with thy panting soul and pendulous earth, as from a center, dart thy spirit's light beyond all worlds, until its spacious might satiate the void circumference, then shrink even to the point within our day and night, and keep thy heart light, lest it make thee sink, when hope has kindled hope and lured thee to the brink. कह रहे हैं बहुत सारी और स्पिरिट्स, some unknown on earth, uh, but whose influence endures, rise to welcome Adonais into immortality. उसको welcome कर रहे हैं. They declare him one of their own, a new member of the eternal company of poets and visionaries, affirming his spiritual and artistic transcendence. Now, Shelley addresses the mourners, urging them to expand their soul's vision beyond earthly confines. By embracing the vastness of spirit and hope, one can perceive the eternal presence of Adonais and find solace. कि रो मत, बस करो, गया नहीं है वो, थोड़ा सा अपना एक्सपैंड करो अपनी विजन को और देखो वो यही है. Rome, the symbol of temporary glory and decay, is not the resting place of Adonais' spirit, for his greatness is independent of worldly power. He is counted among the kings of thought whose intellectual and artistic legacy defies time and corruption. Shelley describes a specific resting place, a green slope amidst ruin, where life and beauty flourish over death. This imagery blends nature, memory, and renewal, celebrating life's continuity and an Adonais' spiritual presence in the natural world. तो वो है, कोई उसका एक पर्टिकुलर रेस्टिंग प्लेस नहीं है, कोई रोम में नहीं है वो, क्योंकि ये सारी चीज़ें बियॉन्ड टाइम चलती हैं, बियॉन्ड प्लेस चलती हैं, राइट? जहाँ पे लाइफ, ब्यूटी फ्लरिश करती हैं ओवर डेथ. Among the decaying grey walls and monuments of time, one pyramid like tomb stands, a symbol of enduring memory. Around it, new generations continue life and death. In grey walls के आसपास, stanza 50, and grey walls moulder round, on which dull time feeds like slow fire upon a hoary brand. And one keen pyramid, एक ऐसे tomb erect कर देते हैं ना, with wed sublime, pavilioning the dust of him who planned this refuge of his for his memory, doth stand like flame transformed to marble, and beneath a field is spread on which a newer band have pitched in heavens, smile their camp of death, welcoming him we lose with scarce extinguished breath. So, welcoming Adonais into eternal continuum, Shelley highlights the permanence of legacy amidst temporal decay. Here, pause, these graves are all too young as yet to have outgrown the sorrow which consigned its charge to each. And if the seal is set here on one fountain of a mourning mind, break it not thou, too surely shalt thou find thine own well full if thou returnest home of tears and gall, and the world's bitter wind seek shelter in the shadow of the tomb. Where Adonais is, why fear we to become? तो क्या कह रहे हैं? Mourners को again warn कर रहे हैं कि not to dwell excessively on other young graves or tragedies. ज़्यादा नहीं dwell करो इन सब चीज़ों पे. Sorrow is still too fresh for the dead elsewhere. And excessive mourning will only fill one's own heart with bitterness. आप और दुखी होते जाओगे. तो सजेस्ट कर रहे हैं ये कि एक स्पिरिचुअल शेल्टर में चले जाओ, एक्सेप्ट करो मोर्टैलिटी को, कॉन्टेम्पलेटिंग एडोनाइस एज एन एग्जाम्पल ऑफ ट्रांसेंडेंस. फिर ये एम्फसाइज करते हैं द कॉन्ट्रास्ट बिटवीन द इटर्नल एंड द टेम्पोरल. The one eternal truth of the immortal spirit remains, while the many worldly things change and pass. So life is compared to stained glass dome. क्या कह रहे हैं? कंपेयर कर रहे हैं इटर्नल को और टेम्पररी चीजों को. एक इटर्नल ट्रूथ है, ये इमॉर्टल स्पिरिट है जो रहती है, लेकिन बहुत सारी और चीजें जो वर्ल्डली चीजें हैं वो चेंज हो जाती हैं, पास हो जाती हैं. तो लाइफ को कंपेयर किया है स्टेन्ड ग्लास डोम की तरह, which colors but cannot obscure eternity. The mourner is encouraged to pursue the eternal. टेम्पररी चीजों को छोड़ दो. उसके बाद the speaker urges the heart to stop clinging to the temporal world again. All hopes and joys in life are transient. सारी चीजें, आप आज खुश हो कल दुखी हो, सारी चीजें चली जाती हैं. They're all transient, change hoti rehti hai. The mourner should heed the call of Adonais, hastening to join the spirit in death, where life and death are reconciled. अब शेली डिस्क्राइब करते हैं यूनिवर्सल को, sustaining light and beauty that pervades the cosmos, an eternal love that cannot be quenched by birth or death. So this divine energy now shines upon the speaker. तो क्या डिस्क्राइब कर रहे हैं? यूनिवर्सल को, जिसमें लाइट और ब्राइट ब्यूटी है, जो कॉस्मोस से परे है, इटर्नल लव जो बर्थ या डेथ से भी परे है. तो ये डिवाइन एनर्जी अब स्पीकर पे शाइन कर रही है, डिस्पेलिंग मॉर्टैलिटीज डार्कनेस. क्योंकि जब आप उसी मॉर्निंग में रहोगे तो आप एक डार्क स्पेस में रहोगे, आप कभी उस लाइट और ब्यूटी को देख नहीं पाओगे. दिस हैपेंस ना व्हेन समबडी आर लव्ड वंस डाई, पास, डिपार्ट. जब तक वी कीप थिंकिंग अबाउट their death, we remain in a very dark space. The moment we have an acceptance of it and we try and remember the good things, good memories, थोड़ा थोड़ा लाइट में हम लोग जाने शुरू होते हैं. तो एक मिस्टिकल यूनियन की वो यहाँ पे भी बात कर रहे हैं विद द इटर्नल थ्रू एडोनाइस. Speaker's spirit is carried away like a vessel on a stormy sea, driven far from the mortal world. अब स्पीकर का भी स्पिरिट जो है वो कैरी अवे हो गया है, far from the mortal world. Amidst this cosmic voyage, the soul of Adonais shines like a guiding star, illuminating the eternal realm. इन सब कॉस्मिक वॉयज के बीच में जो एडोनाइस का सोल है वो शाइन कर रहा है, गाइडिंग स्टार की तरह. And Shelley conveys the final vision of spiritual immortality and cosmic unity, with Adonais' soul serving as a beacon. Last stanza पढ़ते हैं एक बार. The breath whose might I have invoked in song descends on me. My spirit's bark is driven. The breath whose might I have invoked in song descends on me. और वो आ रहा है सॉन्ग मेरी तरफ और मेरी स्पिरिट को लेके जा रहा है. Far from the shore, far from the trembling throng, whose sails were never to the tempest given. The massy earth and sphered skies are riven. I am borne darkly, fearfully afar. उसको लेके जा रहे हैं. Whilst burning through the inmost veil of heaven, the soul of Adonais like a star beacons from the abode where the eternal are. तो उसकी जो स्पिरिट है स्टार की तरह गाइड कर रही है. It ends on a very hopeful or a very light and bright note, actually, wherein he's no longer mourning Adonais in a dark space, but there's an acceptance that human beings are mortal and one day or the other everybody has to go away, but they will remain, the spirit will remain in the eternal realm. ठीक है? So this is about the poem. Just a minute. Okay. Yeah, so that's it. I hope you've understood the poem. अब because it's a very long poem, तो हमने बीच में स्टैंजास पढ़े, बीच में समरी के साथ किया. अब क्योंकि समरी पूरी हो गई है, एक बार अब आप पोम पढ़ोगे तो इट विल बी ईजियर टू अंडरस्टैंड. ठीक है? See you in the next one.